Welcome back. In part 1, we stopped at the moment they went to seek answers. What they discovered changed everything. Filled with anger and confusion, Daniel and his wife went straight to his parents' house, demanding the truth about his birth. The journey to the prayer house was quiet. They fasted, they prayed, they believed answers would come. When they finally met the prophetess, she listened calmly. She asked questions. She prayed quietly for a long time. Then she looked at them and everything changed. She asked my friends to stand on one side. She asked Monica to stand on the other. Then she said a word that froze the room. "You are not husband and wife." They looked at her in shock. She continued, "You share the same blood." She repeated it again, slowly and clearly. "The two of you are brother and sister." Silence filled the room. They could not speak. They could not cry. They could not move. For over 30 minutes, they sat there, staring at each other like strangers who suddenly realized they had known each other too deeply. When they finally stood up, their legs were weak. They didn't even return to their own house. They entered their car and drove straight to their parents' house.
When they arrived, my friend demanded the truth. He shouted, he shook, he wept, "Tell me who I am." His father tried to speak, but words failed him. Suddenly, a man collapsed. He was rushed to the hospital. 4 days passed. On the 5th day, knowing death was near, he asked to see his son. With his last strength, he confessed everything. How they had been childless. How they had adopted a lost children. How they met a pregnant woman by the roadside. How they fed her. How they took the baby. "My son, forgive me," the father said. My friend screamed, "What are you saying, father? What exactly are you saying?" But the man could not speak anymore. He died. After the burial, Daniel's mother called him. She confirmed everything. She explained that Monica's mother had been pregnant before they ever met her. That Monica was already born long before the agreement. Daniel was Monica's younger brother. Daniel and Monica were not raised together, but they shared the same bloodline through that woman. And blood, no matter how hidden, always finds its way back. She knelt down and begged him for forgiveness. Daniel could not talk. Monica finally spoke that night. She explained her childhood, the pain of growing up with a mother who could not hear or speak, the shame people placed on them, the begging, her determination to escape poverty. She never imagined her life would circle back this way. "I loved you genuinely," she cried. "I would never have touched you if I had known." They cried together, not as husband and wife, but as people crushed by fate. That night, Daniel and Monica did not sleep. They talked until morning. They cried until there were no tears left. They remembered moments they once cherished, now poisoned by truth. They did not blame each other. How could they? Love brought them together, but truth tore them apart. The marriage could not continue, not out of anger, not out of hatred, but because truth demanded separation. They ended it quietly, no announcement. No explanation to the public, only silence. Daniel withdrew from everything. He handed over the company temporarily. He stopped answering calls. The once confident man became quiet. Monica returned to the village for some time, staying close to her mother, seeing her now with different eyes, burdened with questions that could never be asked, because her mother could neither hear nor speak. Two innocent people paying the price of heading decisions they were not aware of. Years later, Daniel would say quietly, if God had not intervened when he did, children would have been born into confusion. God did not expose the secrets early, but he stopped the future from becoming worse. The story is not to condemn. It is to warn. Secrets grow. Truth waits. Love without knowledge can become distraction. And God's intervention is sometimes painful but merciful. I am telling this story because I feel for this generation. We rush love. We ignore history. We hide the truth. But God sees everything. And sometimes, when silence ends, it is not judgment. It is rescue. Daniel finally met his biological mother. Years after everything collapsed. After the marriage ended. After the secret was exposed. After his anger faded. Daniel felt an inner push he could not ignore. It wasn't curiosity. It was unfinished truth. Through a distant relative, he located the woman who gave birth to him. The deaf and dumb woman his parents once hid away in shame and fear. She was living quietly on the outskirts of a village, older now, still unable to speak. When Daniel first saw her, his legs went weak. She looked at him, and something changed in her eyes. She didn't need words. She touched her chest, then pointed at him, tears rolling down her face. That was how she said, "You are my son." Daniel broke. He knelt before her and cried like a child, not crying for answers, but for all the years both of them lost. She could not explain. She could not defend herself, but her silence spoke the loudest truth Daniel had ever heard. From that day on, Daniel took responsibility for her care, not out of pity, but out of honor. He didn't replace the mother who raised him, but he finally acknowledged the mother who gave him life. That meeting didn't erase the past, but it healed something deep inside him. And that brings the story to the end. Thank you for spending your time with us on this story. May God help this generation. Bye.